Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the new ban list that's coming out for July. It's going to come out on July 14th, and there's not that many cards that are being affected, but with the cards that are being affected, there's a lot of real significant implications for certain decks, and there is a lot of stuff that's going to be going on with these changes. So in that sense, they will be pretty big, but the total amount of cards being affected is pretty small compared to a lot of other lists. So first off, I'm just going to quickly go through and remind everyone what's on the list, and then I'm going to go through each card and talk about them a little bit. So first off, Geargiagear is being limited, Reinforcement of the Army is becoming semi-limited, Mirror Force and Dimensional Prison are being taken off the list, Magician of Faith is going to semi-limited, Goyo Guardian is being limited, and Formula Synchron is going to semi-limited, so be able to run two of those. So there's a lot of really interesting things going on here, so I'll just look at each card one by one. So first off, Geargiagear. So I guess I agree with this. I know a lot of Gearga players are probably going to hate me, but this card just is, it's really strong in terms of advantage. I think the advantage that you get from it is just way too good. Instant, rank 4 XYZ like all the time. When the other Gearga cards get added, it's going to become even more stronger. So I kind of agree with this. Limited or semi-limited, it's kind of up in the air. I'm not sure which I would go with to start, but I think having three of this in your deck, which pretty much makes it guaranteed that you can keep doing what you need to do, is extremely strong. I think this card wasn't completely thought out when it was made because of how strong that advantage you can get from just a single trap. So I agree with that. I know a lot of people, or I know a lot of Gearga players are going to be upset about this, but I think Geargas are going to be fine. They do have still a huge amount of strong plays that they have access to without a trap like this that guarantees them that rank 4. So next up, Reinforcement of the Army. So this is a very interesting one. You got to consider, when they made Tenki to 3 and the other searching cards that get added into the game. This is going to have a lot of different ripple effects throughout the different warrior archetypes. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind. Look at Six Samurai. Six Samurais already can search out really well, so they're just going to be even more guaranteed to search out what they need to make whatever plays they want. They're going to be more consistent. Heroics, they're getting new cards, so I think Heroics are going to be a strong deck type. You can search, a lot of them out, and you'll have all the access to them pretty easily. A lot of other archetypes that you won't, see as much. Heroes are going to have more play with more searching, even though they already have a lot of searching. So I think it's nice overall. It's going to make a lot of lower tier decks a lot stronger. A lot of decks that have warriors that aren't so good because they can't search, they're going to have a lot more things they could do, which is nice. But on the high end, warrior deck types might become a bit strong with multiple searchers. But so many other decks have a lot of searchers these days, so I think this is fine. And I do like the change overall to make those warrior decks a little more consistent. And then Mirror Force and Dimensional Prison, pretty much in the same category here. I think this is fine for it to be taken off the list. I don't think many people are going to run triple Mirror Force or triple Dimensional Prison. Obviously, Konami is definitely in favor of heavy back row these days. They, have Heavy Storm banned. They're allowing triple of these cards. I think it's fine. I think people just have to understand that, one card isn't the be-all, end-all. You got to keep, having a deck that's consistent and can keep bringing out strong monsters so you're not so reliant, on one or two big plays. So I definitely do like the ability that you can go a heavy back row deck if you want. And I think even though Mirror Force and Dimensional Prison are very strong, because of how varied decks need to be, I don't think, the triple copy is going to get chosen too much. I don't think it'll be the best idea. People will also have to consider back row as much as they do nowadays with things like Royal Decree and Trap Stun and MST, and just keep considering back row. Think about how strong back row is nowadays, and just do what you need to do to deal with it. Magician of Faith going to semi-limited. So I think this is completely great and fine. A lot of the cards that have issues with Magician of Faith have been banned, so it's not really a big deal. I think it's fine to have a card like this where you can recycle spells, because we have something like Magical Stone Excavation, which is also semi-limited, I believe. So it makes sense. It's a bit of a cost to have to throw this on the field in order to get a spell back. A lot of decks are relying on powerful spells like Rekindling, which is also limited, so I think it's fine to have semi-limited versions of this and have ways to recycle spells. And I think it's a cool gameplay style to be able to reuse certain spells from your graveyard that we don't get to see as much. So I like seeing the semi-limited. I think it's good for the game. So one of the more surprising things that is coming from this ban list is Goyo Guardian. This one, oh god, I'm on the fence about this one. It can go completely either way. So I really like it from the standpoint that 6-star synchro decks, or just decks that can build a 6-star synchro, don't have anything good for them. They have, they have okay ones, HTS, Vulcan, things like that. But they're going to get Goyo Guardian, which is a super, super strong card. But comparatively, you got to compare it to like other synchros and other XYZs nowadays that are also extremely strong. So I think you have to see whether Goyo Guardian matches up with those guys or if it's better than that. If it's better than that, then it probably should stay banned. If it's about an equal footing, then you got to consider if it's too strong for like level 6. That's the really big thing about Goyo, is that for a level 6, he looks way too ridiculous. So that's one thing you have to consider, and he's a generic. So it's going to be tough. I really like the 6-star synchro aspect of it. It might be too strong for decks to just build something like that off of nothing without as much cost. So I'm really unsure at this point. We gotta just let it go out there and see what happens and see if it breaks the game. But it's going to be really fun. That's all really that matters right now. And finally, Formula Synchron. So this becoming 2 can create some issues because there's a lot of big advantage that certain decks can get from using this. I kind of like the idea of it being limited because you kind of have to really think your plays out to make him and do your synchros and all that. But him being semi-limited, it's going to give you 2 bites at the apple to make really huge synchro plays, bringing out Quasar and Red Nova. So that might be too much. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not as familiar with decks that try to build up using this card, but that's definitely something to worry about. If decks like that are going to be able to make their plays so much more easily, we might want to consider keeping this limited. But again, something we'll have to wait and see. So again, not that many cards on the ban list, but a lot of the cards that are being messed with are really going to change up some deck types. Warrior decks are going to become a lot more interesting. Geargiagears are going to get hurt, but should still be fine in my opinion. Goyo Guardian is going to be wrecking all over the place. So a lot of really cool stuff to see. If you guys have any opinions on the ban list, I'd love to hear them. Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts and how you're going to play coming up with this new ban list and what you're going to try to be doing. But I'm definitely a fan. Some things to keep an eye on, but overall I think they made some good choices with this one. They didn't mess with Soul Charge, which is still a debate whether people think it should be messed with. They didn't mess with Fire Fists and Artifacts and newer deck types, but still something to keep an eye on. With a lot of stuff coming out, it's very difficult to really know what we should put on the ban list until all those new pendulums and all the other stuff comes out. So a lot of stuff to keep an eye on, but overall I'm happy with the direction that this ban list is kind of taking. But that's about it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.